don't know.
We want to welcome everybody today to Mom and Dad Talks, where our favorite two people are Mom and Dad. And they have a lot of guests today, and we're going to have a wonderful, wonderful talk today here on a perspective here. But Mom and Dad, welcome to the show. And we got our wonderful Hantie. And can you please start introducing to our guests here, Mom and Dad and Hantie?
Yes. Okay. Today we have Barb and Don Harris.
Hi.
Don is next to her.
All right. Good to see you. All right. How you doing, sir? Good to see you. Welcome aboard.
And then turn it towards Miss Marilyn and her daughter, Cheryl.
Uh-oh. We have, okay. Ooh, nice chair. How you doing, Miss Cheryl? Good to see you.
That's Mom, Marilyn.
Hi, Mom. So good to see you.
I'm Cheryl.
And Cheryl, good to see you too. And of course,
I think Cheryl's in the medical field, right?
Yeah.
Yes, she's in the
all right. And what are you in the medical field? Huh?
She's a nurse.
A nurse.
I'm a nurse with the seniors.
Oh, fantastic. And of course, today we have my lovely wife, Swayla Hunt. So we're going to talk today, everybody, about a question here. You know, last week was really, really something with what happened at the FedEx. And we're seeing a lot of this behavior that, you know, they call them random acts, or they call them different things here. And, you know, people try to equate what happened into the 60s what's happening today. And obviously I wasn't there in the 60s or to experience it. I know they call it the tumultuous 60s, but can you guys give me a perspective on what do you see the difference of what's happening today versus when you guys were growing up? What was that?
Well, I think the thing that I see is that in the 60s, there wasn't the amount or the number of guns accessible to young people.
Okay.
Like there are today. You know, when I go into certain stores, you know, they're selling guns and automatic weapons and pistols and all like this. And in the 60s, or when I was growing up, I grew up, you know, in the country, and yeah, you were taught how to use a gun maybe at 11, 12 years old. You know, you started out with a BB gun, and you were given a 410 shotgun, and your father taught you how to use it, and you had respect for it.
Yeah,
and you had a great deal of respect for it. And back then, if you had a dispute or dispute with someone at school, well, after school you would go out back and you have a little fist fight or wrestling, and you parted friends. But nowadays I see that you have a fist fight or you have a dispute with someone or you don't like someone. Well, nowadays I see these young kids go out and get a gun and they want to shoot you. They want to shoot you. Well, back then shooting was not an option.
Right.
You just didn't have access to it. You knew what a gun could do. You knew it would kill, and you just didn't kill people.
So I'm going to go at a different angle than he is. I think in this day and time, there's an uprise in mental health. Okay. Because the gentleman that shot these 8 people in Indianapolis was 19 years old.
Oh my.
Okay, and his mother reported about his behavior a year ago. So I'm saying that if we would be a little more aggressive in acknowledging and doing something about the mental health problem in this world, in this country, or wherever, we might be able to get a lid on this these shootings that are taking place.
I think that's a great perspective. And of course, Hantie.
Okay, mine. I was trying to grasp what has already been said and what needs to be said. When I first heard the topic, I thought of Watts, California, West Coast, how Watts got burned down, a whole city, nearly. What was that over That wasn't over Rodney King, was it?
No, that was Martin Luther King. Wrong
Martin
King.
Luther King.
That was Martin Luther King.
Okay.
They were upset that he was assassinated.
Right.
Oh, okay. And this was how they showed their displeasure over what had happened to him. However, they did so much damage was done in that showing displeasure, if you will. I mean, now it's, instead of taking to a group of people, yes, I know we have protesters, but those are peaceful.
Yeah.
Back there, the police didn't have a handle on the destroying of Watts,
Property.
whereas they were called in on yesterday to try to bring just to help the people. I mean, I mean, can't imagine going to work and not coming home.
Yeah.
The 8 people, I haven't heard the news lately, but 8 people their lives were taken.
Yeah.
They're not coming back.
Yeah.
And how do you feel okay? He didn't feel okay.
Yeah.
He didn't feel okay to even do that. And my heart just sank because it's like how many more?
Yeah.
How many more? So I go in my house and close the door. That's not closing the door to the situation. That's closing the door so I can be safe.
Wow.
You don't know.
That's a great perspective. Do you have any more perspectives from our other distinguished guest?
Well, it just made me sick when I heard about it. And so many of these things have happened between policemen and Black people. And I think it's so wrong. And I just, appalls me that our world has come to this. And, you know, with the trials and they get off and then there's rooting or rioting.
Yep.
And all that kind of thing. And it's just more than I can stand.
Great. Appreciate that. Do we have anybody else that wants to say there at this time? Or is everybody, I mean, because this is just very, very powerful. Anybody else? Yes.
Okay. Barb's husband, Don.
Yes.
It's a whole new problem in today's world where there's people don't talk and try to work things out. They get it's an extreme. There's no in between common sense type of thing. So it's a danger of what's the mentality, and as far as the guns are concerned, why it's the people. It's what's in their minds and the anger and stuff that causes the problems.
I mean, this is just wonderful. Like I said, anybody else want to comment? Because this is some great information here, and I hope people are listening and really taking it. But anybody else?
Can you see it?
Well, when I was a kid and watching my brothers grow up, they liked to get guns for Christmas, but my parents wouldn't give them guns. They wouldn't even let them have wooden guns. They would take them away from them and introduce them to different things that they can do to keep busy and have fun. And so I wasn't raised with a family that had a lot of things to do with guns. So I think some of it reverts back to people's childhood and what their parents let them do.
Wonderful. Ooh, I love this wonderful perspective. So do we have one more?
Back in the 60s, I was just a young kid, but I do remember hearing about a lot of riots, and even in the town in which I lived, where versus today, it's more if people are unhappy with you, and like this kid was an ex-employee of FedEx, and you know, and I've been at a work that we came out of work one day, and there was one worker, she was an ex-worker, 5 cop cars there, and we got out of work. We didn't know this was going on, and we walked out into the middle of this. We all didn't know if we were going to be shot or not.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
So nowadays, everybody is just more aggressive.
Yes.
And it takes me to like the video games these kids are playing nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
It just
they're
promotes.
just used to shooting all the
Yeah.
time.
Right.
Right.
And they don't realize, I think they've lost the perspective that this can actually kill somebody,
Right.
you know, and not a video game that you can just walk away from.
I mean, this is just wonderful perspectives here, and I think it's everybody is just like really. I mean, and these are just awesome perspectives. Dad, you want to say something real quick?
You know, and I just heard today that this young man was on medication, and a lot of these psychiatric medications actually change their mindset. And when they get off of the medication, then they become very dangerous. So I think a lot of this can be controlled not by medication, but more by counseling and talking to people rather than putting them on a pill that will make them either a danger to themselves by committing suicide or a danger to society by getting vengeance back on somebody by going out and purchasing a gun. Now, this young man, he showed psychotic symptoms when the police came there because I believe the mother told the police that the son was in danger of committing suicide, right? He might commit suicide, something like that. And
He shot himself before.
yeah,
anything,
and the police came and took away his shotgun.
Where's this?
This was the young man in Indianapolis.
No,
Yeah.
wait.
A year ago,
Don't deny it.
Yeah, this was a young man in Indianapolis. And right then and there, he should have gone in for counseling rather than the police just taking away the shotgun.
And this we're saying this is before the
He
incident.
didn't shoot himself.
He did.
He shot himself during it, but the mother called the police in a year earlier.
Yeah, a year earlier. That's saying a year earlier it could have been avoided.
Right, and that's what
Knowing
I said.
the
It could have
circumstances that he
been.
had, but instead it wasn't. And unfortunately, 8 people, including himself, are now unfortunately deceased. But I mean, I think it brings perspective. Swelly, what do you want to say, sweetheart?
I just want to say that I was gonna say something close to what Dad said. As educators, you begin to start seeing signs when the kids are quite young. And I think that we, as Mom said, we need to kind of recognize the flags, and we need to really go ahead and deal with the situations instead of medication. That's just the whole point. I mean, some people may need it, but we do need to kind of work out some of the things that are leading people to being like this, because even with you know, for instance, ADHD, some of that starts with just not enough attention from parents. I mean, you know, it's so many things that starts up situations that are you know, in the future that really could just be handled with right now, with just taking time with your children, giving them God and things of that sort. There's so many different things. That's something else. The last part is there's also just a lack of God. I mean, you know, more people were in church and at least hearing about God. And now it's just kind of like we discussed in Bible study earlier. It's just kind of more people kind of doing what they want. So we just have a lot of things that we have to pray about, but just not ignore flags. When we see different things, even if the kids are cute, but really kind of try to think about, you know, let's try to deal with these, because these are the ones that may end up serial killers or different things like that.
And so, you know, I guess we have a lot of great insight here. You know, I love this conversation here. Unfortunately, we got to get ready to close. But, you know, the thing that really comes out here, everyone, is, you know what? Pay attention to the warning signs. Pay attention to the warning signs. Don't say it's okay when someone's saying, hey, they're feeling bad or whatever. Take it seriously. And because they're telling you they need help. They're trying to crawl up for help. And unfortunately, if we don't try to get them help, we get these tragedies here. So, like I said, this was great today, everybody, on Mom and Dad Talks. Great insight here. I hope you all enjoyed today. And until next time, we'll see you next week on Mom and Dad Talks. And we're going to say bye to you. So everybody, bye.
Bye.